All right, so yesterday we got the first look at the new pitch clock, which just judging, watching a full inning of it, it's going to change baseball forever. And I know some people were, lashing out and very angry because they're used to watching baseball a certain way. This is what we always do as human beings. When we see something that's new, we immediately go against it and say it's bad, and a lot of people are lashing out. And I'm sure in April, when everyone starts watching and the games are meaningful, a lot of the normal MLB fan base will be angry at this. But this is something that, it's pretty crazy now. It's kind of funny how they have the big clock on the left, and people were like, are they going to do that at every stadium? No, I believe that's just like a spring training cork. They just wanted to put it somewhere. In reality, it's probably going to be very small and off screen. It's almost like they might add like a shot clock type feature to the score bug of 15 seconds, which I think would be interesting. And, again, this completely changes baseball. Baseball is timed now. The inning is not timed, but every pitch is timed. It's just like a shot clock with the NBA. Imagine if they didn't have a shot clock and a team could just hold the ball for a minute. That's kind of what was going on with pitchers that were really slow. They could take 30 seconds, 40 seconds, they could step off. And in this day and age, in the TikTok era, in the, instant video, 3-second clip, bring me the next thing, dopamine hit type era, baseball was getting crushed. So I think this is really, really going to help the game, even though, one of the big things with baseball was it wasn't timed. You could go to a game. It was going to be peaceful. This is going to shorten everything. And, you see Manny Machado getting the 0-1 count. Players should adjust to this, I'd say, relatively early. The minor league players were saying it took them about a month, and they would hardly see any violations during the game. Although you can see there are some issues with it. You take a look at this LSU-Kansas State game. They ended the game because the hitter didn't get in the batter's box quick enough. And my opinion on this is I do think the umpires will give players more leeway if it's a close game in the ninth inning. They might give them an extra 2 or 3 seconds, because the idea of an MLB game when the bases are loaded and it's 4-3 ending because a player didn't get in the box quick enough, that's a little ridiculous, and that almost makes for a bad product. But I totally agree. This is what should be done when it comes to baseball. They're falling behind in terms of young people watching them. There's no reason for young people to watch them, really, because they just think it's boring, and their overall attention spans have gotten shot so much with the instant attraction to social media. This is a way to change that. And again, it completely changes the game. When the pitcher gets the ball, there's another element to it. It's a 15-second clock. You got to throw the pitch. You got to throw the pitch. It's just like a shot clock. Like, normally we don't really think of shot clocks until there's 4 or 5 seconds left, but they're there on every play. With the NFL, the play clock, now we have the pitch clock. It's just baseball's version of being timed. And I do think it will help it in the long run. Again, people are going to hate it at the beginning, but this is something that as it gets phased in and people get more used to it, it will help the overall sport. And you will inevitably see games take shorter. There was reaction. People were saying, oh my goodness, 2.5 hours for both the games yesterday. It's not going to be that short when it comes to the MLB, but it'll probably shave at least 15 to 20 minutes. I think the average game time will probably be 2 hours, 50 minutes for the MLB, or like maybe 2 hours, 45 minutes. The NBA with the halftime, it's normally like a 2.5 hour type event. It's normally like 7 to 9:30. So the MLB is kind of cutting it down a little bit, which will be overall better for the sport. And then you can also see Bally Sports. I hate Bally Sports so much. They've got their same horrible score bug, probably the worst score bug I've seen in my life. Bally Sports, the pathetic gambling network that filed for bankruptcy. Apparently, they're still doing the MLB games. They defaulted on a $140 million payment that had to be made to the ball clubs that they are carrying, that they have rights to the game. So hopefully Bally Sports gets just completely crushed. I'm tired of seeing them. Of course, they have the same score bug. They can't even pay anything. They have no employees, I bet. It is pathetic. And hopefully, whenever we do get a new score bug, there will be basically a shot clock type feature on the bottom of it. Again, I know people were it was kind of one of those weird things where the first time we see the pitch clock is in a spring training game and it's a massive clock, and it was giving people an anxiety looking at that big thing, counting down every pitch, which is something they're not going to do. I mean, I would not even show a clock behind home plate. You do have to, make it so the pitcher does realize it. And I thought this was an interesting proposal. Instead of the clock on the backstop, just give me a bracelet that shocks the hell out of me when the clock is low or gives you a warning, something like that. I think that's definitely the way to go. There's no reason to have a giant-ass clock back there. That just seems ridiculous, and people really didn't like that. But again, I think that that's just a spring training thing, and they're really not going to have that at actual MLB stadiums. You'll give guys bracelets, and then if the fans want to see how much time is remaining, just like an NBA shot clock that always counts down from 24, you're going to have a pitch clock, hopefully on the score bug. Although, I wouldn't hold my breath with Bally Sports. They're just a horrible network. But maybe Fox will have a little pitch clock, which is basically a play clock or a shot clock if you're thinking about the NFL or the NBA, and that would reset back to 15 seconds after every single pitch was thrown. So baseball is virtually now timed, at least in some sense, which I think is really going to help the overall casual and younger interest in the game. It's going to shorten the games, and you're not going to be dealing with what was really killing baseball was these 30 or 40-minute half innings that, you might have a guy walk 2 batters, no runners score, no hits happen, no action happens, and you're sitting there for 25 minutes. That just simply can't happen nowadays with all of the entertainment that younger people have at the tip of their finger. They're going to change the channel. They're going to go on their phone. It has to happen faster. It does have to evolve. So I'm sure this is something that's going to get immediately met with a lot of criticism from baseball, normal baseball fans, not casual people, especially in April. But we have to understand, when we get introduced to new stuff, our first reaction is it's terrible, it's bad. Humans don't like significant change, and this is a significant change to the MLB. But overall, I'm telling you, after seeing how quickly it went and just kind of the overall way it was structured and understanding and knowing that they have a certain amount of time to throw this pitch, and I can see this next pitch within 15 seconds, there's just like an incentive there to keep watching. I can't really explain it. But it's just like an NBA team. You take the shot clock off, you put it at 35 seconds, the game is going to get more boring. Now with the MLB actually limiting it, more action, faster action, and hopefully it'll keep kids' attention easier, which is one of the things they're really struggling with. This is such a huge change for the MLB. The only reason they would do this The only reason they would do this is if it was a dire situation when it comes to the overall fan interest, and especially among young kids, it is. Now, when you compare it to the NBA, it's virtually the same. Actually, the MLB, when you look at ratings, is better than the NBA, but it has no social media presence because there's really not a lot of young fans. There's a lot of NBA young fans. There's not a lot of MLB young fans. So that's the thing they're really trying to change. And we'll see if it works out, but my initial reaction is it's certainly going to change baseball, and I think it certainly is going to help overall the game kind of transition into the modern time, the internet age, with all of the information that we do have. So that I just wanted to talk about the pitch clock, and we'll see what ends up happening. Again, I think the format to go with is give the pitcher some type of bracelet, something, or, to where that's how they can know, or put it like at the way top of, like, way behind home plate where it's out of view. I just don't think fans need to be seeing, the giant clock, which is kind of just annoying and really ugly. And again, I think that's more of a spring training thing. And just put a little pitch count on the bottom of the score bug, just like an NBA shot clock, just like an NFL play clock. That's kind of the route I would take when it comes to actually equipping it during the games, the regular season games. But guys, that's going to do it for this video. Make sure you're following me on Twitter. Link to that's always in the description.